Hello everybody and welcome to my Sunday live stream. Today we're doing a couple things. It's all focused here on my rack. I'm going to be putting some backgrounds on a couple of my tanks. I'll be adding some substrate in a few of my tanks as well. Redoing some lighting and possibly playing with some plants. I do have some loose plants right now. I'll probably plant a couple tanks, but they won't be fully planted yet. So, I'm going to take Fringe, welcome. Freaky Fish Lady, welcome. Mr. Manifesto. Tank Top Tropics, welcome. Petroman1185, welcome. And Geek Boy, good afternoon. So, I'm thinking first, I'm debating on whether I want to do the backgrounds first or the lighting first. I'm going to go with the backgrounds. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do the backgrounds first because the lighting's going to take so long. I just have a feeling. But what I mean by lighting is I'm on the top there's two lights going on the individual tanks, and on the bottom three shelves, there's one system of linkable lights, so there's three lights linked together. And I'm going to be moving those up one rack. And then on the bottom, I'll be adding a Fluval 3.0 light. I've looked at these for so long, and I was like, don't we have one? Because I saw a picture of the Fluval. Okay, a lot of people say it differently, but I say Fluval. I've seen pictures of Fluval lighting, especially on Girl Talks Fish, one of her videos about balancing planted tanks. She talked about this light here, and I saw that, and I recognized it because I've seen it somewhere. And I went in the basement and I found it. Well, I thought I found it. And I grabbed the wrong light and I tried to program it to my phone, and it didn't work. And then I found the actual light. And this light used to be on my Cory Cat tank. It's my mother and mine and my mother's Cory Cat tank, peppered Cory Cat tank. And it was on there, and I never realized that you could program it. And the light would come on in like the middle of the night. Even though she would turn it off, it would still come back on. And then when you go downstairs in the morning, it would be on. But downstairs there's 6 linkable lights, but large, huge linkable lights on those Husky racks. I believe they're Husky racks. So we didn't need this Fluval light on there anymore. And I was going to put it on my discus tank, but then I actually, measured the size, and it would only light up the middle of the tank. So I decided that I could cut down one light if I put it on the bottom and move the linkable lights up. I could eliminate those 2 lights and then add a light. So I'd all in all be eliminating 1 light, and I'd have an extra plug. I'll probably be doing more of these live streams in the future of planting my tanks and maybe a few other things. I have a few other things in mind for the rack and a couple other my tanks. I'll probably be putting a background on the discus tank sometime. Eventually. Patty's Petite Tanks, welcome. Olivia F171, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Yes, Petraman. I think that lights should be on timers. I think that's cool that you put all your lights on timers. We have like a Wi-Fi timer, and I'm gonna look for one online sometime. And then all my lights could be on timers. Almost all of them. Yep, so I'm gonna start this project with the backgrounds, and I've already cut out the backgrounds because I felt like it'd take a lot of time, and it didn't. But I just got foam trifold, like a presentation board out of foam, and maybe this will keep the tanks a bit warmer, so it's not so much on the heaters. Hold on. Oh, I wanted to say hello to someone. I don't know how to say their name. It's Gokur, starts with that. But welcome. I missed that one. And Lance Jones, welcome. But I'm going to be putting backgrounds on 4 of my tanks. This one's going to be for my 5.5 gallon, which I'm going to be getting a special needs beta from KG Tropicals. It's a lavender half moon and it has fin damage. And it's going in my 5.5 gallon. So I got that, a background. And then this will be for my 5 gallon bow front, right on the top there. This probably will show a little bit of the sides, but it's fine. And then this is for my 10 gallon tank. Now, I thought 10 gallon tanks were a bit smaller than this, but that's a pretty big piece of paper. I mean, poster board. And I did get a black poster board, but it wouldn't really go with any of my fish tanks. Well, I mean, I guess I could have put it on my Icicle and Santa Claus Guppy tank, because they're bright colored. But the other 3 tanks are a bit darker fish, so that's why I got white. Dave Farrell, welcome. Sandy Farrell, welcome. I was going to bring a ladder up here, so it'd be easier to bring you along doing this, but I'll probably end up putting my laptop on this fish tank. It doesn't work. Hold on. Alright, that's better. That's pretty much the best I can do. Anyway, I'm going to start by the 10 gallon, doing the 10 gallon first. And, there it is. And then taping it onto the back. It's nothing too exciting. I'm sure a lot of you have done backgrounds. I haven't really done backgrounds, as you see. There's only one background on all the tanks I have in my bedroom. But, okay. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get it on, but I'll find a way. I'll get it done. Some of you guys are so fancy about the backgrounds. But what I did to cut it, I just put it up to the front and measured it and then cut it with like a box cutter. But I kind of wish that I thought of putting backgrounds on it before this whole thing was assembled. But it's fine. I have to add a bit of substrate to a few of these tanks, which I'll be doing in this stream. But I will have to move a couple fish as well. That's what I plan on doing. But first, I plan on actually finding a way to get this background on here. I didn't really think about this part, but of course, I just knocked one of the lights out. There's so many cords that it keeps getting stuck on the cords. I thought this was the easy one. This was going to be the easy one. just going to attempt to slide it all the way over. I actually got that. Surprisingly. And I won't have to tape the left side because it is pretty secure. I mean, the right side's secure too. I just don't want it popping off like it is. I take a small piece of masking tape. And obviously just tape it on. Voila. And after all these backgrounds are up, I'll try and get the best view of showing them. They don't look too bad. It makes the tank look so much better, not seeing all those cords behind it. Next one, I'll do what I think will be the easiest one. Is this one up top. This is my 5-gallon bowl front. That's got some Dumbo Blue Dragon guppies and a guppy baby in it. And I've had a background on this before, but it got pretty ruined. Hopefully this one will. And the best part about adding backgrounds is you can always remove them and change them, or just take them off. If you don't like them. And I haven't seen behind this tank in a little bit. Because I've had a different background on it that isn't really a background, it's just sitting there. So yeah, this has been a project I've been putting off for a little bit. Well, I didn't have the backgrounds, but I didn't really want to start this project because I knew it'd take quite some time. Well, that's why I decided to do it on the stream, because I didn't have a topic. Like most of the time, I don't have a topic. But it's helpful because I can get stuff done that I've been putting off. I don't know if that makes it look darker or brighter. I don't know why it looks darker. Okay, that looks better. So with this bow front, I didn't clip the background up against the back of the tank. I just let it lean against the wall behind it. And it looks nice. Fish Match Socks, welcome. Monster Fish Gal, welcome. Did you see Smallscape? Joanna found these textured rock / large pebble backgrounds at Dollar Tree. No, I didn't see that. That sounds cool. And this one's gonna be for the 5.5. I don't know too. It's this one right there, so it's a little bit out of view. So this one is gonna be the one that I put that special needs beta in. it does have a background. It has like an actual aquarium background, but it's since it's a lavender half moon, it's a bit of a lighter scale beta, and I want it to have a lighter background because this one is coral, that's blue and red, and I think the beta would blend in too much. Although it is a very pretty background. And in this stream, hopefully I'll be redoing this tank. I have a couple plants that I want to put in here. Some fake and real plants. But all the fake things will eventually come out when I find more real plants. Yes, that looks very nice. And I want to do a background on this one, but I didn't cut one. So I'm not sure if this one will work. It would work pretty good, but it's ruined. We're back. Okay, I'm back. This is a whole piece of foam trifold presentation board, and this was one of the flaps, and that was another. It was a pretty large piece of material, but I used a lot of it. And I can always take the white ones off, find different ones or something else. This is how I did how I cut it last time. Fishimon64, welcome. If I missed anybody, hello. Sorry I missed you. The one I'm cutting the material for right now is Fluval Spec 5 gallon. I think it's a spec. But I really like that tank. And a 10 gallon would fit in its place if I needed a larger tank for some odd reason. But I like the look of it. So I'm just going to take my box cutter and cut along, you probably won't see it, the green edges that I made. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody's chats or miss anybody coming in. But there's not much talking involved, which is pretty boring. I tried to think of a better topic for this stream. Chubbs Aquatics, welcome. I'm kind of redoing the tanks. A lot of them have black substrate and they'll continue to have black substrate for no particular reason. But black looks so much cleaner to me. Here we go. If you have white substrate, a lot more waste is visible. And I have some black diamond blasting sand that I'm going to be putting in a couple of these tanks to try and give the substrate a bit more level. And be able to plant more plants, so they'll have a deeper substrate. Now I don't ever put that much substrate in, like 3 inches, and a few brands do recommend that you use a bit more substrate. I only ever do like that much at most. That's in my discus tank. My other tanks is about 1 inch. Just because I like to save substrate, not use a whole lot of it. But of course, sometimes just eyeballing it or using the substrate, all the substrate that you have, sometimes it's just not enough substrate to be able to plant plants and have them stay there. So that's why I'll be adding a bit more substrate in a couple of my tanks. So I got my unevenly cut piece of foam. And this one will be easier, kind of like that one, because they're on the top. So I don't have to get behind any other fish tanks or between the top and bottom of the rack. And eventually I'll do some videos. Eventually I'll actually have consistent posts of videos. But eventually I'll do videos on each of these tanks. Because if you go back, it's like my 3rd video that I have. I did a walkthrough of my bedroom. All the fish tanks I had in my bedroom. And I think that was 6 at the time. That was my 35-gallon discus, my salt water, a beta tank, a starfish tank, that 5.5 gallon, and then a 20 high. I don't even know if I have that 20 high. But now I think there's 12 fish tanks in my room. I try and make the most of fish tanks. Some of them are overstocked currently. They won't be overstocked permanently because I am going to be moving fish around as the time comes to move them. And that's the background part of this. Let me try to show this. Alright, so I put backgrounds on both of those, as you can probably tell. A white background on that one, because this one, it's a Fluval Flex 9 gallon, so it has a compartment in the back. So technically there's already a background. So I put a background on that one, put a new white background on that one, and that one's another Fluval Flex. And then on the bottom, that one already had a background that came with it, so it didn't need one. Yeah. Chibs Aquatics said I got up to my 72 bow front circle crashing for some reason. I'm not sure, but I saved most of the fish. But I did lose 3 rummy nose, though. Rest in peace, the 3. Cool. I used to have rummy nose tetras. I had this one discus in a 35-gallon tank. And I thought it was a bit lonely, and I wanted, a tetra to bring it to life more. And I put the tetras in there, and the discus tried to eat it. So, the next will be lights. The next project will be lights, which will take probably the longest. The top light will just be resting there for a little bit. I plan on taking a piece of wood that I have in my room and building like a little thing there and mounting the light up there. I'm not sure where to start. I'll probably start by taking these instead. One way. Alright, one light's down. I don't know if it will. Alright, so it comes apart, and then this one will just be mounted. Eventually it will be mounted somewhere, right up there probably. But for today it'll be sitting there. And right now it'll be sitting over here while I grab the other ones off. There's three lights on each shelf. There's one here, one there, and then one on the bottom. And I'll be taking all them off and moving them each up a rack, up a shelf. And then putting the new but old Spoonful 3.0 on the bottom, on the very, very bottom. Everybody say hi to Smokey. Okay. She doesn't want to be held right now. She's a very social cat. I'll say hi. Skechers hasn't came in yet, which is pretty weird. Because normally my sister brings her in first thing every single time. Okay, so I'll probably grab some clear duct tape to re-tape these. Well, this one still has the clips on them, but I know one of them broke off. Well, some of them broke off on the other ones. I'm gonna go grab some clear tape. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got clear duct tape. John Larson, welcome. In my African tank, I have lost a fish a week for over a month. Big time aggressive behavior. I keep watching, but hard to pick out the worst of the aggressive fish. Oh well, I hope you get that under control. So these lights come with clips on them that are double-sided, taped onto the light itself. But since a couple of them were already detached, because it's not the strongest clip, I'm just going to be taping the wire up on the top of each shelf. And I'm hoping I'm doing this all right because I'm not the one that put these on here. But darn it. Alright, so I found the core, and then I attached this dimmer that was on it. And I'm going to attach this light. Oh, that's great. This light will be attached to it. I'll have to probably tape the timer there, so it doesn't fall every time. If anybody came in, welcome. These cords really need to be longer. Sorry if there's a lot of silence here. Having a very fun time getting this light to go. I think I might have to tape that one in place first. Muppet, welcome. Not sure if I said hi to you yet or not. Now these lights, I'm not sure what brand they are. My mother will probably have to answer that, if anybody was wondering. But they do get warm. Well, they do get pretty hot, is what I should say. Like if you touch them and they've been running for a couple hours, they're pretty hot. But they do cool down eventually. Now since I have these under, they're on the top of the shelves, but they're technically under the tanks above them. I think that they actually slightly warm up the tanks that they're under. After this, I'll show an update on the discus tank if anybody wants to see it, and then I'll move on to doing the substrate, adding a little bit more substrate. In the few tanks that need it, well, they don't really need it, but in order to make planting certain plants easier, I'm deciding to add more substrate. Because normally if I plant plants, they get uprooted pretty quickly. I'll have to put this. I'll have to try and get this up the back. I'll have to figure out if this will actually fit. Okay, so I have a few different lights sitting in there. I'm going to see if they have different cord length. And if they do, that would be perfect. I believe there was things that make the cords longer. I think this is what this is. What substrate am I using? Well, I guess I'm just capping the old substrate, but I'm using black diamond blasting sand to go over a couple tank substrates, because they need to be a bit deeper. Okay, I found what I was searching for. And what I'll do is I'll just mount the light up there once I need to. And then I'm going to connect the last one, which shouldn't be that hard, because there's already an extension plug connected to this one. So there's actually extra cord. Now I just need to tape it in, and then I can plug it in and see how it looks. I'll use this large of a piece for one light matching it, which I'm just taping the cord up to the top because I don't want to tape the light part of it, because that part looks really, really hot. there's actually enough room right here if I ever put a 10-gallon tank there. I could, in theory, it would replace the 5.5. If I wanted to take down another one of my tanks. It's not really bright. The tanks right now, but it will be sitting way up there. This one's not very bright because I put it on upside down. Like, holy cow. How did I put a light on upside down? I have no idea. But, yeah, it's upside down, so it looks very dim. I'm not going to waste the tape. I'm going to reuse pieces of tape that I originally used to mount this light. Cool if you know you're going to plant it, drain the tank, put the root tabs, then the sand. That's what I planned on doing. But I didn't make root tabs before the stream. And I didn't see that on Girl Talks Fish. Oh, wow. She laid down her substrate, and it wasn't a substrate that already had nutrients in it. Like it wasn't eco-complete or something. It was just a regular brand of sand, so it didn't have anything good in it for a plant. So she took it, laid down a little bit of it, laid down root tabs in like a grid pattern, and then filled it the rest of the way with her substrate. That's what I plan on doing. If the lights and background didn't take too long, then I was gonna drain a good amount of the water out of the tanks. Probably, I was thinking about taking the fish out, just because I think it'll be easier. And then putting the root tabs in. Well, anyway, I'm gonna move this camera back down here. Hold on. There we go. So there's a little bit of glare, but I have this Fluval 3.0 light linked to my phone, which I don't have right now. Otherwise, I'd show you. But for anybody that doesn't have one of these or wants to know what it looks like, I'll show you in a minute once I get the knot out of the corner. Terry's Tropical Tanks, welcome. So it's a long but like not very wide light, and it's got extendable, I don't know what you'd call them, arms. The cord runs to this transformer, and then where you plug it in. So I think my phone is out there, so let me grab that real quick. I did not end up finding my phone, so I cannot show you the different colors of this light. And that light did just fall down. I'll fix that after. But we got this used with a couple of tanks that we got. But since I'm here to show you me putting it on my tank, I'll just show you the colors that it's on. Whatever that may be. So there's a power button. And then it's on white. That's like multicolor. That's too bright, but it's got oranges and pinks and blues and yellows in it. And I'm gonna put it on this tank back here. And it is a pretty high light. But there is options to turn the brightness down to a certain percentage. The percentages go all the way up to 100. And I haven't played with them too much. I've never used one of these lights. But I am going to take a couple plants on my other tanks and see if they do better or worse or the same under this light down here. But overall, right now, I'm not sure what percentage it's at, light-wise, but it's doing a very good job. And it fits perfectly on the 20 high. That's doing a very nice job. It's very bright. If I ever want to move it to the front to see the fish better, I could. Then I can move it to the middle. So far, I think it's got a really nice look to it. And I will have to fix that light up there, but I'll do that after the stream. So next, I'll do substrate. And I have a scoop and then my bucket of well-rinsed diamond blasting sand. I'm debating on if I want to drain the tank and take the fish out. Well, I'm definitely going to do it for this one. Definitely going to take the fish out because I got to move that fish, so I'll do that now. I have a small hole net and my cup, and I'm moving this beta. It's a cellophane beta, I believe you would call it. It's got no color right now. I think it's like a marble koi. It's going to grow up to be that color at least. There's also mystery snails in here from Lab Snails. just going to float her down here in the lake that I just put that fluval, in that tank that I just put that fluval on. Take some of the water out. Actually, I'll move her to a bit of a smaller cup. Just so it's easier. I have a little custom feeding rings on the tank that were made out of airline tubing. So I'm going to take the snails out of this. And I'm going to unplug the heater. I'm not going to unplug the filter because it's a sponge filter. So I'm just going to leave the airline running and take the sponge filter part of it out. Add a little bit of water. And I'm going to clean this sponge filter because it gets clogged pretty quickly. Only because there's so much mold from what I've done with this tank. But anyway, I'm just going to scoop each of the mystery snails, all the large ones and the baby ones. I'll scoop out. And I'll be using the same water, I just have to grab a bucket to drain it. I'll only need like one bucket probably. Because it's a small tank, it's probably got 4 gallons in it. But I will be filling it up a bit more. Because it has evaporated quite a bit. And I've been looking for a better lid for this 5.5 gallon because it does have small holes in the lid where a beta could easily jump out. So I'll probably get one. I'll probably get a new lid for it before the beta comes. And I believe we do have one in the basement. A lid for this tank. It's a wire lid, but it works. It'll work until I find a glass lid. And I believe it's on our tank that we plan on breeding betas in, but we won't need it because we're more than likely going to wrap the lid in saran wrap anyways to keep the humidity in. I think I got all the snails. I'm not sure though. Oh, there's still. Wow, I missed 3. And now I believe that's it. Just a second. Okay. So I believe that's all the snails. If I see any more, I'll obviously snatch them. But I'm going to take the plants out and put them in with the little container snails. This is some willow moss. I'll have to clean off because there's tons of mold. But that's some willow moss. This is some Christmas moss. Dwarf sedge. And then I have a rock with a Java fern for my muck-uppy paint on it. But I'm not going to put that into the snails because it's a rock. And I don't want to crush the snails, so... if I have to scoop the water out anyway. Just take a small bit of it. Just enough to cover the plate. And I suppose I'll drain the tank with this one, just with a turkey baster. Sandy, what type of coffee do you like? Well, I actually have my mother's phone, but she drinks Colombian coffee. Maxwell House Colombian coffee. She drinks it dark in the morning and then with Hershey's chocolate creamer in the afternoon. But if she had her phone, I'm sure she would answer that with the same response. And of course, my cat comes in to try and drink the nasty fish water. Oh, my mother does have she has her laptop. But of course, my little kitty came in to drink the nasty fish water that I have. And we save all the yogurt containers that we use. And I was going to use them for worm cultures, but I think they were perfect for projects like these. You know, one has a sponge filter in it right now. One has a Java fern, and then a smaller cup has plants and snails in it. So I think yogurt containers are great to save. Hey, Olivia. Can you bring me a bucket? I hope she heard me. So I'm going to slowly but surely drain this. And the heater will be fine because I already unplugged it. I'm saving all this water, and I will be adding some new water to this tank after I fill all the old water. Thank you. But I will just be leaving the heater there. I'll probably even take it out and lay it somewhere. Oh, and then my other cat, the one that I was talking about on the Wednesday stream. Of course, my other cat's meowing, but this is Fluffy. She's back from the vet, and I'm so happy. And she finally loves me again, which is awesome. I missed her while she was gone, and then we left to go camping for a day, so I missed her so much. But we're back for the entire week, except for the weekend. But all the weekdays, we'll be here, enjoying time with her. I'm just going to try and drain it. Alright. So the nice background that I just put on is going to come off there. And we do have that spade shovel for aquascaping. Not sure where it is. But it's fine. Actually, I'm going to post the link so I can join in on my mother's phone. And we'll take a quick trip downstairs. Just a minute. So I didn't put it in chat yet, but give me just a minute and I will. Alright. Pretty good. So I evened out the substrate in this 5.5 gallon, and we'll take a trip downstairs. I'll make up a couple root tabs for the tank, so I'm going to put substrate in. So, 1 minute. Oh, and when I join in on this phone, I hope everybody recognizes the background, because it was pretty easy to do, but I just want everybody to know that I changed it. Alrighty, hello. This is the tank. Oh, let me zoom it out real quick. There, on the background, it's my logo. But in a minute, and I'll be making this one big. And yes, I'm in my mother's name because I'm on my mother's phone. But this is the 5.5 gallon tank that will be for that special needs beta. I took the background off. I will be putting it back on. But this is the tank. I'll have to clean up the sides a little bit. Those are the original rocks, and they are very pretty. I think they're a really nice color. And you'll still be able to see them. And then that's the black diamond blasting sand. And now we're going to take a trip downstairs if I can figure out how to flip this camera. Alrighty. So we're going to take a trip downstairs. Make some root tabs. I can smell popcorn in this house. Well, I need quite a few. Okay. Oh, there's my cat. So, I'm not going to reveal anything in the fish room. I'm probably not allowed to. Anyway, so I'm just going to point it at the ceiling, I guess. Or I can show this wall, because that's just the 75 gallons. Hold on, I'm going to think of something to do. I can't read chat right now. Actually, I can. Oh, I can? Yes. Yes, you can. I can show the fishroom. Awesome. I'll be making up a few root tabs because I'm not going to take any of the 10 packs and open them up. I'll need a good amount because I think I'm adding substrate to 4 of the tanks. I'm placing them in a grid line, so I'll make up a good quantity of them. Since I'm allowed to show the fish room, I'll show the fish room first, and then we can get to doing this. So weird because on my laptop move the cursor. I'm just tapping right now. Okay. Hold on, let me go from the start. Now everybody has seen the door. You walk in the fish room. And that's what it is. I'll go tank by tank. So first thing you see is my grindle worms. They have their food, so I'm not going to disturb them. Down here is that 5.5 gallon for beta breeding. I can probably take this lid. You know what, I'll snatch it right now. Because I can move my lid that I have on my tank down here to this tank. Because the water level won't evaporate a lot. So don't worry, it won't be that low. But the water level is going to be like right here. So they have that much jumping room. And then there'll be a good lid on it. Well, there'll be saran wrap anyways, but I'll just snatch this lid. Then over here, my black room culture. It's off right now. It's an interesting story. And then there's a cup of duckweed for making snallow. Those are my very messy corner that I gotta clean out soon. Since we'll be putting a rack of 3 or 4 10-gallons right there. But back there is pretty messy. Got some apple cider vinegar because I plan on making some vinegar eels. I have my microworms and some containers. And up here, 220 highs. Well, there's 320 highs on this one. That one's empty. Those 2 are for Crevensis babies. Cherry would very appreciate those rocks. Up here, my Moscow butterfly babies. Baby guppies. Long fin bristlenose plecos. There's a pair, male and female, in here. I couldn't show you, but that's a really cool vase. Oh, there he is. That's the male. And then here's a 20 long with albino crevensis. Oh, look, there's a female. She's got a nice very pinkish red belly. And then there's a male back there. There's a couple more too. Here, there's 240 breeders. Those are my peppered cories. One of these is my mother's. One of these is a male to 6 females or 6 males to a female. I don't know, but 101 Dalmatians. Those are some Dalmatian mollies. Some Berlin swordtails. And Dumbo dark dragon guppies. And they're babies. And they're still very large females. 240 breeders. This one's for angelfish babies. That one's for cichlid or discus babies. Up there, chocolate bristlenose plecos. Julie cories, false July cories. And here there are German ribbon fin guppies. In the breeder net, there's Dumbo blue dragons, and there's some cute little red shrimp. That's the workbench with some 20 longs and lots of other chaos going on. That's the water bucket fill station. My God, my family's horrible. I can smell popcorn from the basement. I didn't mean that my family's actually horrible. I'm just mad at my sister because I can smell popcorn from the basement. That's we went over this, but there's 2 75s. That's for angelfish and a couple threadfin rainbows and bloodfin tetras. Crevensis and cherry barbs in this one, and there's 2 little huts that we think they might be breeding in. And then 8 10-gallons with water bridges. There's black shrimp, guppies. Those are yellow mosaic guppies. Daisy blue rice fish. What are they called? Sunrise guppies. Sunrise or sunset guppies. Some red shrimp and a mono shrimp. And then plants. There's plants in all of them to grow. And then over here, there's 2 10-gallon tanks. There's nothing in them right now. There's some pest snails in that one. But yeah, that's the fish room. So, oh, my mother did such a great job aquascaping these. Well, I wouldn't say aquascaping. I would say decorating, because aquascaping would be like rocks and things like that. Come on. So I came down here, and I showed the fish room, grabbed the lid, forgot the root tabs. So I'm just gonna grab 2 10-packs just in case. Farrell's fishing more. And you can pause the live stream if you want to read that. Yeah, I just grabbed 2 10-packs to be safe, and then stole a lid. So now I'm gonna be going back upstairs and start doing this tank. Okay, so I'm gonna go back on my laptop, but I have everything that I needed, and this does fit a 5.5 gallon tank. This will do for now. I'll return it back to upstairs. I'm sure we're not breeding betas anytime that soon, so we won't need it right now, and I can find a glass lid. But just a second, and I'll be right. Alrighty, I'm back. For those aquatics, welcome. I love the cats are here. If they stayed here, I would love to put a camera on them. Here, I'm gonna join back in on this phone. And then I can have like a close-up of me actually aquascaping this. And I'll probably do audio through this one. You'll have video from both. Well, I'll probably do audio from this one. So give me 1 minute. Okay, I like that better. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay. Okay. Alright, that's weird. But let me move a couple buckets and see if I can get a good view. There. That's good. Oh. Okay. So this is a tank. Obviously it's a 5.5 count, and I have some rats in here. I'm just going to take the 10-pack of worms, 10-pack of worms. Oh, thank you. Oh, sorry, the cat's covering it because I think it's cat treats. Hold on, let me. Alright, they're fighting. Give me a second. Let me give them some treats real quick. I'm sorry. Excuse the cats. So I'm just gonna give them a couple treats to keep them out of the way. Because every time you open a jar or open a bag of something, they think it's treats. Oh, it's not a bad thing, but alright. They got their treats. Back to this aquascape. There is a furry monster in the way. Sorry. Yeah, there's lots of furry monsters. So, like I was saying, this is the 10 round tank. This is the 5.5 round tank, and I think I have a towel. This is a Science Gal Aquatics towel. I'm just gonna get like a little damp and wipe down the sides. Now we don't have hard water, we have very soft water. We're close to neutral pH. But since I have to buffer certain tanks' water to be harder, especially with guppies and snails, Mr. Snail. Sorry about the furry monster again. Since I have to buffer the tank sometimes, I get deposits on the sides, especially with the snail tank, because they keep their water level low. In hopes they'll breed. There. So now that all the algae is off, well, almost all the algae, just gonna continue to wipe it down. But once all the algae is off, and all the deposits are off, I will start the aquascape, I guess, if you want to call it that. And now I've never done like actual aquascaping. I've just seen videos of it, and I've been watching tons of plant videos from a variety of YouTubers, fishtubers, lately. So, and now that doesn't mean I know what I'm doing. That just means that I've seen other people's setups. But I know to lay down, root tabs. And I think so. They have your 10-pack root tabs from Phil's Fish and More. And your root tabs will work. I'm pretty sure like almost all root tabs will work as long as you know what's in them. Now some can be made with like organic potting soil, and I don't know. I've never used them like that. I've never used ones that have organic potting soil in them. Sorry. These cats are attracted to eating root tabs. Disclaimer, I don't actually let them eat the root tabs. They just want to sniff them. But I have my effluval tweezers. The monster's back. And I'll take the root tabs. I'm just going to lay them in a grid. And the way Girl Talks Fish does it, she laid a lot more down. I won't be laying that much down. I'll probably lay one per every 3 inches. Just because I do plan on doing a carpet in this tank. And I'm sure the special needs beta, once its fins grow back, I'll be moving it to a community tank so it can have fun with friends. Then I can help the next beta in need. Because I plan on planning out these guppy tanks that I have pretty well. So I can probably put a male beta in each of them. And they won't be able to eat the babies because there'll be so many plants in my beta. But I will be putting plants in this later. There. And then, now that the root tabs are all laying down, you can't really see them. But, and then we'll take a nice scoop of diamond blasting sand. Black sand. And I'm going to be very, very patient with it. Because I don't want to put a whole clump of it in each spot. Okay. It happens. And I can always spread it out. And I think this will look really nice. I'll end up probably putting just a clump every, only probably 4 clumps for this whole tank. Like, because I already have cycled gravel in there. I don't want that deep of a substrate. Because if you put 3 inches of substrate, I feel like that takes gallonage out. Now, if you have a 55-gallon tank or a 20-gallon tank, say, and then you do 3 inches of substrate, 1, that's a lot of substrate, but 2, it wouldn't take that many gallons out. Now, if you're doing a 5-gallon tank and you got 3 inches or 4 inches of substrate, that's probably going to turn into a 4-gallon tank, or maybe a 3.5-gallon tank, because there's so much substrate and it takes up water volume. But now root tabs, if you let go of them, they do float. And the reason they float is because there's air in the little capsule tabs. And the monster never leaves. Some people do poke holes in them. I think that's a very smart idea. I, however, will not be poking holes in these because, 1, I'm burying them in the substrate, and 2, if I was doing it in something like my discus tank or a different tank, like a deeper tank, or really any tank, I would be glad to have the root tab float, because then I know that I didn't get it in farther enough, and it's not going to get, well, it will get in the water column if I leave it there. Now, if I poked a hole in it and it sunk, then it would sink no matter what. And I wouldn't be able to point out, like, oh, I didn't put it in the substrate enough, or what happened if something did happen with the fish later on. But I feel like having them float lets you know that you didn't put them in the substrate deep enough. Now, I don't have that aquascaping shovel spade that I was talking about earlier. We do have one, just don't know where it is, but it helps a lot better. It helps a lot more. But I'm going to be using this cup. So sorry about my cat. And I'm just going to flatten it out with a cup, which seems to work pretty well. I just want to make sure that there's a good inch, inch and a half, maybe 2 inches, probably not, of substrate over the root tabs to make sure that nothing is leaching into the water column. And the plants are getting plenty of nutrients from these root tabs, and that the root tabs aren't just sitting there. And some people say replace them every 6 months, 4 to 6 months. And someone like Real Talk Fish, she says she goes against the rules. Instead of putting them in a 3-inch grid pattern, I believe, is what is recommended. She puts it a bit closer. And then another way that she says she breaks the rules is she replaces her root tabs I think she said every 1 to 3 months. But that's because she heavily plants her tank, which is what I plan on aiming for with these tanks. I want to have them heavily planted. I'm not sure that I actually washed enough substrate, but if I didn't, then we'll just resume this another time.
I'm just making sure that there's enough substrate and that nothing will be floating. None of the root temps will be floating. And I'll be grabbing some plants to plant this out with. And I do have some cool decorations I will be adding that will make it look very natural. Well, at least I hope they'll make it look very natural. So if you can see that, oh, look how this here. But there's only about that much substrate in it, which I think will work perfect. And I have this 5-pound box of siltstone from Rosa Aquatics, and I'm just gonna try and make a cute little scape with it. And, you know, I'm gonna put this back on the shelf. I think I should put this back on the shelf. Yes, before I get into the scape, because that will make it heavier. Now, I'm just gonna put it back into that little open spot there. Before I make it heavy. There we go. Now it's in its spot. I'm gonna switch it out a little bit. There. Now it's in its spot. And now start this small scape. Let me see if I can position this. Alright, I'm not sure how much of that you can actually see, but it looks like it's not that bad of a deal. I'll make like a small rock pile. Not like a whole pile. It's just gonna be, yeah, just in the substrate, little rock formation. And I'm gonna leave a little open space. My Java fern plant. Well, the Java fern on a rock. And they feed from the water column, so it'll be fine. So, I think that looks pretty nice. Now, I've never done anything that artsy. You know, with a hardscape and then the aquascape. I just kind of just, oh yeah. I just put fake plants in there. Most tanks, just to start off. And most of the time I keep the fake plants for a good while. Until I actually put something else on there. And I think that looks pretty nice. Now this one is nice and special. There's nothing in there. I'll probably add this dwarf Sagittaria in the middle. And this is a carping plant. I might actually end up having a carpet of that in one of these things. We have a bunch of them. And then I'll add my willow moss. Just gonna split this into sections. Hopefully this stays down. because I'm not going to press it too deep into the substrate. I'm just going to try and tuck it there. And if it floats because it'll eventually sink. They always do. And I think that looks, I think that's the artsiest thing I have. I do pure line right, 1 inch pure line right, then 2 inches equal complete, then 2 inches PVC sand, and then 90 which are all. The 75 gets 1 inch line right, 2 inches equal complete 1 inch sand. So I'm going to try and refill this tank. Alright, so I did spill a little bit of it. I did stir up some of the rocks, which will tuck back down into the sand. Actually, I'll add another scoop of sand. And I know a lot of people, there's a lot of tapes that I see. Oh yeah, really crowded. But a lot of people that I've seen that do stuff like this, their tanks are just sand, and that's it. They're not on a rack, which is a pretty tight-fitting rack. There's not a whole lot of space there. So a lot of people I've seen use something to stop the water from wrecking the upscape, but I did not, and that's fine. A couple pieces of gravel are out, which is, I think it looks kind of natural. And I'm just taking this broken net of mine and smoothing out the sand. I actually think it looks nice when some of the gravel is out, and I will show it once it clears up a little bit. So you can see that one of the root tabs did come out, which happens. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just replant it. If I can. Okay. And I'm not going to waste this. I'm just going to set it off to the side and use it for a different tank. I'm going to get mine and pour some of this other water in just a second. I'm going to clean up a little bit of the water that it's put. And that'll probably clear up soon, and it's not going to I'll start bubbling it as I bring out the sponge filter, and I'll add in the water, or the clean water, not the water from the sponge filter. And the clean water I'll put in there. I really do like that. It's a very fine sand, so if you're using a siphon, you really want to be very careful. And with sand, you don't want to put your siphon in the substrate anyway. You just want to hover it above. And some people do dig in the substrate very lightly, especially in African cichlid tanks. I've seen caveman aquatics bring his sand, and he does it as differently than most people that I've seen. But it's very, very nice one. I'm just going to reattach the airline hose to the sponge filter. Of course, I dropped it. So, and the sponge filter, it is up a little bit because the airline is short. But that's fine. I'm going to take the rest water dump it. And then the mystery snails will go back into their home. And I'll put a little bit of fresh water to bring it up to about there, so they still have room. If they were to breed, they still have room to lay their eggs above the water. And this is a pretty wet towel right now, but I'll clean the glass more thoroughly afterwards. There you have it. That's good. I got my last one that I sent here last week. I should have put Bruno's email on the phone and sent it to my Facebook page. Just a second. My laptop is plug my laptop in. Before it dies. Well, touching my music on Tuesday, so they come early or late on Tuesday. So we can, and we'll probably be here all day Wednesday as well. I'm just gonna flip the snails for a couple minutes, because that is their water. I didn't put any water in yet, because I had to add some additives. I'm gonna release this beta that I've been floating in. so she can see her new boutique friends. And unlike introducing Jeffrey to Beta, she's very calm. You're swimming around. I love that Beta. Yeah, we probably will only get to that one. I'll do the other ones, but I know science down goes at 5:59. We may have time to do one more, but I doubt it. Only because I have to drain the tanks. Actually, drain the tank, whichever tank I decide to do. And then remove the fish, bring it down onto the floor, bring the tank down, take the root tabs, get some root tabs out, and add them in. And then add the new substrate, put it back, aquascape it, fill it up, and then acclimate the fish. And it doesn't sound like it takes too long, but I don't know how long it took last. It took almost 30. Yeah, touch away if you want. Some of the time. But after the stream, I'll find my phone and then adjust this light and program the light to. If anybody in chat has a long 3.0 light, um, how many hours a day from that? Patrick Hardy, welcome. I love how this tank came out. I think it looks very nice. And I'm going to get this sample. And I know they haven't been acclimating that long, but their temperatures are the same because they weren't out of their tank that long. One snail in at a time. And they're closed up, and I'm not sure why, but a few of them do float. And they're not dead because they were just out. They were all just out. Especially the small ones float. There's a little baby chestnut. There's one of my blues about to go in. Alright. Another blue, I believe, is going in. And I have a couple blues. I believe I have 4 or 5 blues. There's another blue. I think one of those might actually be a jade. That's fine. And then the baby snails. I'm just gonna slide them down the sides until they detach. I'm just gonna end up pouring these guys in. Except for the one that stays behind, or the 2 that stay behind. I'll take those out. I'm gonna detach them to the sides and then put them in. And I'll feed them once they kind of get adjusted a little bit. Even though they're old water, I just want to let them kind of feel around, get used to their new substrate. Very good idea, Sammy. You're always thinking Eastern codfish should get brown, but usually something efforts. especially with your phone. Hold on just a minute.
I'm not sure. Can you hear me or not? Alright, I'm hoping you can hear me now.